Aloha and welcome everyone to Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and staff to find out how they're working to support the needs within our community. Maui Nonprofit Notes is generously sponsored by Pacific Source. If you're building or remodeling a home, you've just got to check out the Pacific Source Cabinet and Appliance Showroom in the Waikapu Bayshard. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific and President of the Maui Nonprofit Directors Association. And today we have with us, as our first guest, Kimber Carhart,
Aloha.
who is the Development Director for Hospice Maui. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, hey, thanks for being here. I know November is special to the hospice folks. Not only is it Hospice Month, but you have a big event. And I think what I love about this event, every year I love talking to to you this year, but Greg in the years past, about how you're doing this fundraiser, and everybody can take part in their own way.
It's so easy to participate, and I'd love to take full credit, but it's actually the invention of some brilliant board members of ours a couple years ago. And so the Dine Out for Hospice Maui is super easy. All you have to do is dine out at one of the 28 restaurants island-wide on this special day, November 13th, and they will donate a portion of the proceeds from your meals that day to hospice.
And that's Tuesday. Monday's a holiday for a lot of people, the Veterans Day. And so on Tuesday, get out there, and it doesn't make any difference whether you're going to McDonald's or to the kitchen or to, what do we got here? We got Malawailea, Capiche. Hello.
Yep, so if you want to get dressed up, you can. If you don't, no problem. Go through the drive-thru at McDonald's or put on your fancy shoes and head over to Capiche. There's something for everyone, and we made sure we had options all over the island. So there's something in every region of the island and something for every taste and every budget.
And these are different times of the day. Some are dinner, some are lunch, some are breakfast. And our good friends at McDonald's and the kitchen and Bistro, the kitchen, Ruby's Diner, and McDonald's, Dairy Road, McDonald's, Kahului. Do they include some of their other restaurants too, or just those two?
Just those two.
Okay. Is all day long. So if you stop in for your Egg McMuffin in the morning, go back and have a Big Mac for lunch, and then go back and have a fish fillet for supper, you can help hospice out 3 times.
That's right. And I'll be dining out all day. Stella Blues is also offering meal periods all day that qualify for the dine out. And as well as Leota's Kitchen and Pie Shop, that new yummy place.
I hear a lot about it. I haven't been there.
Oh, it's to die for.
It's that good, huh?
Yeah, it's fantastic. So it's on your way out to Lahaina. And
Oluwalu, yeah.
Yeah, Oluwalu. Yep.
Yeah, we were headed to Lanai a couple of weeks ago, and we said, if we get back early enough, let's stop in there and have dinner on the way back home. And, we got talking about the trip and just zoomed right past it, and all of a sudden it's like, what happened to Leota's? Right, oh, no. So it's still on my list to go see them.
Fantastic.
So it's all age groups. I mean, there's no age limitation here of any kind. Kids that go over to McDonald's after school to get something to eat, there you go. You're helping out too.
Yep.
Now,
and you don't have to make reservations. Some, of course, they recommend. Maybe at Mala, Honu, Capiche, be a good idea. Fleetwood's definitely to make a reservation prior to the event, and you can do that right on our website, hospicemaui.org. I set it up so that if you go to the website, you can follow the links to make the restaurant reservation very easily from there.
Yeah, very good. So, where's Monkey Pod Kitchen?
It's new. It's in it's at the top of the hill above the shops at Wailea.
Oh, the gateway, that little square thing right down the hill or down over the edge of the road.
Yes, and so that's the participating Pita Paradise is that Wailea, in that same Wailea gateway. So
2 of them in there.
Yeah, so Pita Paradise as well as the Monkey Pod there.
Cool. And for those of you upcountry who never come downtown on Tuesday, you've got Casanova's, you've got the Kula Lodge restaurant, Market Fresh Bistro there in Makawao, Manoa Cafe, Polly's Mexican restaurant, can't beat that. Flatbread down in Paia, yeah.
Yep, and Moana Cafe is reopened under new ownership there in Paia as well.
Oh, they have.
They've participated in the past and missed last year, and now with the new owner, they're willing to participate this year.
Come back in.
It's great news.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, this is so easy for them too, because they're serving meals anyway, and they're just taking a percentage of the sales for that day and giving it to you. And that's something that's contracted between you and them.
Yes, and they're so generous to do this. And of course, we want to make sure that they're busy, so get out there and support those who support us and keep their restaurants busy. It's such a great excuse to take a family member, friend, co-worker to lunch or breakfast or dinner, and keep these restaurants busy that night. It's easy to do.
And the entire list is on your website. If you go to hospicemaui.org, actually it shows up first when you go on. It just pops right up. You don't have to go searching for the events or any of that kind of stuff. So it's terrific. 28 restaurants taking part in Hospice Maui's Dine Out for Hospice Maui. Now, how many years you say you've been doing this?
So this is our third year.
Third year.
And this is the most restaurants we've ever had participate. So it's very exciting to watch it grow. And there were people calling us saying, well, we didn't get to participate last year. We want to participate this year. And it's really nice to see that. For example, Teddy's Bigger Burgers, they came on really late in the game last year and said, we want to participate. I said, well, I don't have an opportunity to promote you yet. We don't care. We want to participate anyway. So they just wanted to support Hospice Maui. So that was a beautiful thing. And so they're on the list this year, and we can help promote them as well. So.
That's great. Now, if I recall last year, the year before, whenever it was, and talking with Greg Lagoy, your executive director over at Hospice, he was saying that you can have a big event and you can go through all the planning for a big fundraiser, and the bottom line is sometimes you just don't make money at it, or enough to make it worthwhile for all the hours that have been put into doing it. And with this, you're kind of doing it all, I'm hearing.
Yeah, it keeps it very simple for me. I basically have to work with a graphic designer. We had Artistry 8, and she's been an amazing graphic designer for us for this Dine Out graphics. And the restaurants do a lot of it for us as well, but it's really just a matter of getting the graphics together, producing some radio commercials, and so it's been...
I can do it here on the station this morning when I was coming to work. Yeah,
that's right. So I'm able to do that along with all the other functions that I somehow perform in a day.
Don't we all wonder how we get it done?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Now, when you make your reservation, or if you just walk into these places, you don't have to identify that you're there because of hospice.
No, you do not. Although it would be wonderful if you think of it and want to mention that we came to support Hospice Maui, it will help the restaurant know that that's why you're there, and it'd just be nice to know that they understand that it's working, and that's why you're there. But you don't
it's the perfect night for them, because isn't Tuesday night kind of a slower night in the week? I mean, it's not like you're taking a Saturday night,
right?
And so it's just a double win, I think. And a great way to do it. So, folks, check out hospicemaui.org website and take a look at the Dine Out for Hospice Maui information. 28 restaurants to choose from. And if you can't find something to eat, then you must be on a diet or something like that. Anyway, some other things going on over at Hospice. We'll get back to that before we leave you today. But some other things happening at Hospice. Tell us what's going on.
Well, it's National Hospice Month, and we like to take this opportunity to help get the word out to the community that it's important to consider hospice early on. When you are facing a family is facing the end of life for one of their family members, we just would like you to consider what hospice has to offer sooner, because what happens when they come to hospice very late in the game, we had the last couple months a trend of 3-4 days with hospice care. It doesn't give our team a lot of time to prepare the family for what is about to happen. And the more time that we have to work with the family members and get everyone prepared for this final journey in life, the better it is for everyone. And we have a professional staff that's highly trained. We have a physician on staff Doesn't mean you have to give up your physician. Our physician works very closely with your physician. We have very highly skilled nurses. We have social workers. We have counselors. And we have nurse aides that are hospice aides. And they are all very good at what they do, but they need time to do their job.
Is there in these short-term situations, is there a denial going on?
I don't know. Every individual is different.
Okay.
And so sometimes I'm not exactly sure why that is. It just happened to be a trend that occurred the last couple months. And it's for the family members' benefit to consider hospice early on so that they can help prepare everyone for what's about to happen. And the beauty of what we do is we continue to care for the family after the loved one has passed, and up to a year sometimes, which is the time it takes. And the counselors are there on staff, and we have a bereavement program that's called HEAL, Help Ease a Loss, and that meets every week. And they're there for you. You don't even actually have to have had a family member on hospice care to take advantage of the free HEAL program. And that's on our website too, the information about HEAL.
That's great. Now, how does one get into hospice care? Is it a referral system, or can the family member call up, or does it take the doctor?
It's a little bit of both. You can have a referral from a physician. You can call us and inquire, and we can help walk you through that. But anytime you'd like to call and just get more information, just call our office. We have the easiest number, 244-5555, and ask for Cindy, and she will talk you through the process. And sometimes it will require a physician's referral. If you don't have a physician, our Dr. Long will be able to become your physician for that. So. But it's a good idea to find out a little bit about it beforehand as you're facing a life-threatening illness. Just hop on our website or ask us to mail you some information, and the more you know, the better it will be for the family, the better prepared you'll be.
So in some cases when folks know that death is imminent, or they've given up any treatments that could extend their lives, sometimes they just say goodbye to their doctor and we're just going to let this person go on their own time. That's when your doctor could step in and be helpful in timing of things.
Absolutely. We provide expert symptom management, pain control, and as well as spiritual support. We have 2 spiritual care coordinators that can come into play when necessary, and they will come and meet with the family and help connect you with any clergy that you may want to see. And it's an amazing team of support that we offer.
I know that when my sister was dying of cancer at the young age of 41, we had hospice care, and it was so wonderful to have, and this may sound strange, but to have someone else kind of giving you comfort. We had our minister there, was there pretty much all the time, because my mom was really taking it hard. I've not been a mother, but I understand that's the worst pain a mother can go through is losing a child. And so she didn't know she was trying to be, tough for everybody else, but yet you could just see it was eating her up. And the hospice people did such a wonderful job of being able to talk her through and bringing her to some understanding. I don't think she ever was ready to accept it, but an understanding that this happens in life, and that, I just don't know. I don't know how they did it, because it was one-on-one, but I know that after being there for, 10 days or so, she was different about it. Whereas she'd been just afraid of everything. Any little movement or change in my sister, it was like that was the end, But now she was more calm about what was happening, and she could even play with my niece, without kind of, can't touch, just things like that.
It's
I don't
amazing.
know who else would have done it.
Yeah, when you think, well, you're inviting strangers into your home, but it's not like that. They're coming in to support you, and sometimes you feel more comfortable opening up to a stranger than you might your sister or your daughter about certain things. And so they act as sounding boards as well. Our volunteers that come in to help the families, and sometimes they're there initially to provide respite for the caregiver or to keep the patient company. But a lot of times they end up being the sounding boards. So they serve another function there as someone that the family members can confide in, especially when family members are in a little bit of disagreement about how they should care for mom or dad or their loved one. And so the volunteers there is the middle person and can just sit there and listen and be present and hear their gripes and complaints without judgment, because they're not family, right?
Right, yeah. On that note, we're going to take a short break for our sponsor, and we'll be back in just a few minutes with Kimber Carhart.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with executive directors and staff of our nonprofit organizations and talk about what they are doing to help improve the life of everyone on Maui. Today we're talking with, first of all, we're talking with Kimber Carhart, who is the Development Director for Hospice Maui. And we've talked a little bit about the Dining Out for Hospice Maui, which is taking place next Tuesday, the 13th. And now we're kind of talking a little bit more about the program itself and who is served and how they're served and how does one become, I mean, it's not something you want to achieve, becoming eligible for hospice. Sorry, there's a little chuckle in my voice on that one because it sounds really strange, but there is a bottom line as to who is eligible. It's not just everyone that would like to have some help.
Sure. Normally they'll have an individual will have a prognosis of 6 months or less. However, with an early intervention like that, often what that can lead to is, because we do such a great job of dealing with the pain and the symptom management, as well as the spiritual concerns of the individual, they sometimes live beyond 6 months. In that case, we recertify. We don't just kick them off the hospice program. Our physician and their physician might get together, and we're able to recertify them as needed. And that happens every now and then, where someone's doing so well, they finally have all the attention they were looking for. Right?
I see. Okay.
No,
okay.
I don't know.
No,
but it's they're finally comfortable and able to relax. And our social workers have gotten involved and addressed all these other concerns as well. So that's
I would think that would be a big, especially if it's a parent or someone who doesn't think their job is over here. Who's taking care of this? Who's taking care of that? It's got to be top of mind for folks. And even though you may have a huge Ohana around you, nobody does it like you do. And so how do, I can't die.
Right. So that's where the nurses and the social workers, as well as our spiritual care providers, come in, and that emotional support they provide for the whole entire family helps address those issues. And for the family, the biggest concern is their loved one in pain, and how do we control that? And that's where our team does expert care on that. And they have special additional schooling and qualifications that they need to attain before working for hospice. And so they all have extra licensing to be involved with hospice care. So.
Very good.
Yep.
It is a very special step. Now, you said at one point that your doctor can recommend that it's time to start talking to hospice. Who else? How else does one get into the program?
You, as a family member of someone who's facing their end of life, can bring it up to the physician. Sometimes physicians aren't as comfortable bringing that up, and there may be cultural issues that may prevent them from bringing it up sooner. And so in that case, do feel free to bring it up to your doctor and say, what do you think? And once your physician realizes you're willing to talk about it, it'll be easier for them to have that conversation. There sometimes they want you to take the lead, which is interesting because it's your physician, but his job is the cure.
Right. And
he's going to keep trying.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
what we hear from people is that I've had enough already.
Mm-hmm.
I want the last couple months to be as comfortable as possible. So stop with all the shots and all the treatments and all the whatevers. Now, do we have, and this may be wrong to ask you this question, but you're here, so I'm going to ask it. People from here go to the mainland to a lot of special clinics and things, trying to find that miracle cure that everybody's looking for, only to come back and face the reality that it's not going to work for them, or there isn't one out there. And then they're just kind of, now what?
Sure, except for that they had to do that for their own well-being. That was an important step in the process. So I wouldn't say if you were inclined to do that to not, because that, if you didn't do that, would you always wonder, what if I had gone to do that? And when you're consulting your team of doctors and nurses, absolutely, if you think that that's what you want to do and that's what you're not going to forgive yourself if you don't try that extra step. But there's definitely situations where you, as long as you have all of the information and know what hospice can do for you and you still make that decision, that's fine. My concern is that a lot of people don't have the information about what hospice can do, and there's some misconceptions here. That's where you go when there's nothing else to be done, when in fact hospice is the something more that can be done. And when the illness cannot be cured, this is a whole nother concept of care based on comfort-oriented care. So referral to hospice is just a movement into another mode of therapy. And it's a more appropriate form of care at this point because as end of life approaches, there's a different type of care and treatment that can occur versus the aggressive prodding and poking and things that do occur. And a lot of people are under the belief that when they choose hospice, it means they're giving up hope. And what we'd like to say is that receiving hospice care it's another form of hope, and it's redefining hope, where a patient once hoped for a cure, they can now hope to be pain-free.
I see. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, they may want to hope change their hope to wanting to spend as much time with a loved one as possible. Perhaps it's remaining in the home rather than in a hospital or a nursing home for more treatment. And so it's a new form of care, and it's not giving up hope at all. The earlier an individual receives hospice care, the more appropriate, or the more opportunity there is to stabilize their medical condition, address the emotional and social and spiritual needs. So that's, if I can drive anything home today, it's that to seek information about hospice care sooner than later. And the more information you have, the more informed decision making you can make, and to help ensure the absolute comfort of your loved one as they face their end of life.
And that should be the top priority at that point.
Absolutely.
And for the rest of the family, when we were talking about sending, going to the mainland or going to wherever for a special cure or something that might be out there. In many cases, maybe the patient is not set for that, but the family can't give up, and they encourage them to go. Whatever it takes, we're going to get you there. And it's just like, at some point, the patient says, we've tried everything. If this is what's to be, let's just make it as comfortable as possible, or as easy as possible. There's no such thing as easy, but for the patient, that, like you said, being comfortable, being kept comfortable. I think that's one of the key elements, and that's what I can remember my sister being, gosh, probably as peaceful as she could be those last few days. Even, I mean, it's hard. There's no way to explain how hard it is to say goodbye to a sister in a situation like that, where she's gone from being super, super healthy, active, young mother, all these sorts of, the whole life package ahead of her, and bam, within a period of a very short time, it's going to be over, and the family's going to have to adjust to this loss. And I just really can't say enough for what hospice did to help everybody be ready for that next step after the passing.
Yeah, and they're there for you after the passing as well. And but like I said, if the comfort is the key to what we want to provide, but it takes time. And so to optimally manage those symptoms, the hospice team needs time. And 3 days is just not enough time. I mean, we work very well in a crunch, but it would be much better for everyone involved if people had the information about our care and came to us sooner for help.
So now they call your number, which is
244-5555.
Ask for Cindy.
Yep.
And find out what hospice has to offer. Can they come over to your facility? And
absolutely, we do welcome you to come to the facility. We also send our team out to provide initial assessments and gather information and make sure that we have to have them certified as hospice appropriate, and yet you can come in early on and inquire about it, and that's what a lot of people do, is they know that they are going to consider hospice, but they want more information, and yet they're not quite ready. And so they'll come in, they'll gather all the information, and then when they're ready, they'll make the call and say, okay.
I like the comment that you made earlier about sometimes you have to bring it up to your physician, because the physician is totally focused on trying to cure you or, prolong your life if that's what's ahead of them. But when you bring it up, then that kind of changes the tone of the discussion.
Sure, and they're very willing once you bring it up. It's just that they're very focused and they're on the job that they're very good at, and they may not be willing to pause and take a step back to look at the whole entire picture here, because they're so focused on the cure. And
right.
This is a good option to consider at certain points, and
it's something that you don't want to present it to your physician if you don't know all about it.
Right.
And so that's the point, folks out there, that we're trying to make to you, is that calling hospice and finding out about hospice care, so that when you do get ready to bring this up to your doctor, you know what it's all about. You're not just saying, "Oh, I had a friend who went through hospice and they said it was really great. We'd like to do that." Well, get the information and find out for yourself. The other thing that I think that a lot of people get concerned about is the grieving process itself. Is there an appropriate term or length of time to grieve? I mean, everybody's different, I would think.
Absolutely, and for some, it doesn't hit them until months after, some right away, and so anytime that, and again, you don't have to have had a person on, a family member or loved one on hospice care to take advantage of our HEAL program, but it's for anyone at any stage in the grieving process, no matter how much time has passed, and preferably within a year of when their loved one has passed, to come on by the HEAL program. And again, HEAL stands for Help Ease the Loss, and the schedule for those meetings it's right on our website, hospicemaui.org, and it's free. There's no charge for that. It's a community service that we offer, and there every week it alternates either a Tuesday or Wednesday, and the time of day changes as well.
I see.
That we try to make it so that there's a time in the evening for people that are working all day, and then for people that work at night, we have an afternoon, late afternoon program as well.
That's sometimes I think that, like you say, sometimes it hits you immediately. Sometimes something happens that maybe there was something that you always did together, some event that you took part in or some trip that you took, and then all of a sudden you go, wait a minute, we can't do that anymore. And it all comes down on them. And so that's also the time to make that call.
Sure, and especially as the holidays approach, you may find, if you're listening and you have a friend that you think may be in need of this HEAL program, take close note to how they respond to the holidays approaching, because that's often when that loved one is missed the most. And so we are having a program on December 1st, and it's called Holiday Open House. And this is the first time we've done this program. And it is a remembrance event. However, there are also activities that will be appropriate for children as well. And we encourage the entire family to come and get involved in a project or a craft and sort of take your mind off of, for a little bit, what's going on, or focus completely on the loved one. And we'll have counselors on hand if someone needs to go and have a one-on-one conversation with one of our bereavement counselors or social workers. They'll be there on hand as well. And this is, again, it's December 1st. It's at the Hospice Maui offices at 400 Mahalani. And it's
December 1st is a Saturday or Sunday?
It's a Saturday.
Saturday, okay.
And it's from 9 to 2. And there'll be cookie decorating for the kids and ornament making. And we're creating a wreath that we will have so hopefully you will, once you make your beautiful ornament, want to leave it behind with us so we can put it on our wreath or garland rather. But if you want to take it home, that's fine. But it's a remembrance event where everyone there will be working together, and they've all experienced the loss of a loved one. So you'll be surrounded by others who are in a similar situation, and yet we want to make it so that it's a family-friendly environment as well. And so it's a nice positive project to work on during these times.
Yeah, interesting. And you're right. The holidays do bring up lots of memories. Starting with Thanksgiving, I know one of the traditions around our house is everybody stand up and hold hands and talk about one thing you're thankful for the year. And in some cases, somebody has just lost someone, and they'll say they're thankful for the time they had with that person. And you think, wow, what a terrific way to think about it. They're disappointed at the loss, and more than disappointed, but thinking positively about the time that they had with them. They're saying something about better to have had and lost than never have had at all, or when it comes to love and friends and so forth. But it's just one of those things that's what the holidays are all built around: family, friends, the loved ones in our lives. And so, it's been, 22 years since I lost my sister. And it's still Christmas time, I'll wake up that morning and I'll be thinking about different things we did as kids. And it's just not a conscious thought. I wake up thinking about it. And that's just how I think grief hits us all.
Right. And they can be
ways. Beautiful
memories.
They're great. Actually, it starts the day off good. Good? Is that a proper sentence?
Well,
it starts the day off well. Yeah. Better than it might have been. Because we did have that time together and those experiences and things. And so, and I am sure that's some of what comes through in your counseling and in your healing, heal sessions. It's the object's not to forget about the person.
No, absolutely not.
That's probably the worst thing anybody can do, right?
Absolutely not. Every individual is different, but I'd like to say that that's not the purpose of HEAL. It's just to help you, ease you through that loss, and it's not to forget. And this event is a remembrance event, so it's hopefully a nice positive approach and fun activities to do over the holidays.
Right. And that's, again, is December 1st, 9 to 2 at Hospice, 400 Mahalani Street.
Yep.
And then next Tuesday, everybody remember, it's Dine Out for Hospice Maui. Eat at your favorite restaurant. I'm sure one of your favorite restaurants has got to be on this list. 28 restaurants to choose from. Have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and enjoy and help hospice. Thank you so much, Kimber, for being with us today.
We
really
appreciate
it.
Thank you for having me, Susie. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Any last comments?
Just to dine out November 13th, Tuesday, all day long.
There you go. Okay, we're going to take a break here and hear from Pacific Source. Thank you.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and staff to find out how they're working to support the needs within our community. One of the big needs we have is cleaning up trash and getting rid of whatever's out there that doesn't belong there. And so our next guest, Ray Chandler, is no stranger to this show. How you doing, Ray?
Aloha. I'm happy to be here, Susie.
Yeah, Ray's executive director of Community Work Day Maui. And, every time I drive back to go to Maui Friends of the Library, I see more and more things happening at your place.
Yes.
And it started out with some paint barrels. Yeah?
Yes.
And then there was some tires. Mm-hmm. And now there's a whole bunch of containers, and there's just all kinds of stuff. What are you doing back there?
We're so busy, so right now we're actually kind of doing a community work day at Community Work Day. And it's long overdue, So we painted the interior of our building, the exterior of the new classroom building we've taken over since Habitat for Humanity moved to Wailuku. And we are redoing our greenhouse. We had a wonderful greenhouse that served us for a really long time, and it just kind of lost the battle against the elements probably a year ago. But we have reconstructed a new greenhouse, and it's really helpful to us because we're able to utilize greenhouse space up country in Oma'opio, which is gorgeous, and the plants are happy and everything's wonderful about that. The only thing is the distance, the drive between our program and up there, especially when you have a garden work day like right now and you need to run up there and go get plants. So what we're creating is a system where we can move things slowly down from Oma'opio as they're mature, and they can come down to Community Work Day and stay there accessible. And then also because of the Communities Putting Prevention to Work grant that we were doing with the Department of Health, our volunteers for anything, whether it's marine debris or litter pickup or garden work days, they can get a script that they can cash in for a edible plant start. So people are building their gardens through their volunteer work at Community Work Day, and more so we want to have those edible plants accessible at our base yard for people to exchange and to take.
So if it's an edible plant, you don't eat the whole thing.
Yeah, you don't want to eat the plant itself. You want to eat what grows from the plant. So we're really fortunate that actually Cilantro's restaurant in Lahaina, the owner's name is Paris, and he gave a donation of money to Maui School Garden Network, and them and us, our two organizations, partnered together on school and community gardens in Maui County. And through the CPPW grant, we started 16 new school and community gardens in Maui County in the last 2 years. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's a lot of plant starts.
Yeah,
because you want to actually take a plant that's really doing well and plant it into a garden instead of starting things from seed, especially when you're working with little kids, and they don't want to get disappointed because their plant died.
How we're talking about little kids. How little are we talking about?
Actually, the kids that our garden coordinator works with are from like literally ages 1 and 2, the daycare that is run out of Kahaleakeola Homeless Resource Center, from that age all the way up through high school and actually college, where we're building our UHMC garden. It's the first community garden in a UH campus in the state of Hawaii, and it's going to have plots actually for rental, you know, that you can pay a little bit and then have a little area you can grow here in town. So we're cultivating the soil right now and building our garden at UHMC, but that's underway, and we're always looking for help with that.
You and your organization are tremendous. There's nothing you aren't into.
Oh, I know. It's actually like when somebody says, "What does Community Work Day do?" I don't know. You know, it's so much. It's really hard to narrow it down. Of course, you know, we are known for cleanups. I think that's what, when people think of Community Work Day, they think of litter and
along the highways,
and things like
and
that.
The beach and
of course, yes, we do that also. We do that with community volunteers. So volunteer groups are able to come to us to pick up supplies for those cleanup events. So bags, gloves, you know, litter grabbers, things that can like scoop nets we use for sand, because you can sift the trash out of the sand. It's really great. You know, we do a lot of cleanup things. We are constantly doing cleanup things, but we also have moved into kind of some prevention and education, and then big on recycling. You know, in the last probably 2 years, we started a big push for remote communities. You know, remote communities on Maui and on Lanai and Molokai are really struggling with their waste issues. You know, I mean, either they're really far from the landfill, or the landfill doesn't take, you know, some things, you know, so we've been trying to meet those needs. So we've expanded with a household battery recycling program. Of course, we have the paint recycling program. And then we do these remote area recycling events for appliances, car batteries, tires, e-cycling, you know, things that you can't take to the landfill. So people in Hana, they're stuck with this stuff, you know. So we come out quarterly and we do events over there on Molokai and on Lanai.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know how you keep it all straight.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody wants to do a specific project, they call you.
Yeah, they would call our office. You know, our Facebook is just so awesome. I love Facebook because you can't really, even on this microphone right now, I can't tell you about Community Work Day. You can't really visualize it. You know, you have to see photos. And so our Facebook has albums of photos of different projects and things that we do, so people can get an idea of what they do want to do in the community. And they can either join something that's already happening, like a group that's already organized around a marine debris cleanup or a garden building project or something like that, or they can just initiate their own. So we've had, you know, businesses, even nonprofits, that as a staff get together and want to do something for the community in one way or another, or just families, you know, many families that want to do something as an ohana, or we also have individuals, you know, that collectively just attach, you know, onto whatever's happening, or get on, you know, as part of Rotary or whatever service organizations they're a part of.
Interesting. So, and many of these things you can do either one time or on a regular basis.
Yeah, it's completely up to you. You know, I mean, our volunteer hours for last year is astronomical. It's more than $1 million in in-kind contribution. If you look at just the labor of the people that are coming out to do the events, it's mind-boggling. That's in the tens of thousands, you know, of it's over 10,000 people, you know, so when you do the hours on that, you know, but that's what happens when you do 500 things, you know, if just 2 people, you know, help on each of those 500 things, it's a lot, you know,
yeah,
so,
right.
But we basically are a resource to the community. We want to educate people around things that have to do with sustainability and living responsibly here as a community, whether that's waste management, gardening, recycling, whatever we can as individuals do for our community. I think that's what Community Work Day is here to support in whatever way possible.
Well, now, not only getting it out of where it shouldn't be, but putting some of these things in the hands of people who need them, like your paint recycling. People can call you or can come out to your site over at the Puanene site, and can actually find some paint
for free.
and
Yeah.
paint their house, paint their room, paint whatever.
Yeah, and I'd love to talk about the paint program just because I think it's, I won't say it's underutilized. We had over 2,000 gallons of paint that went out to the community last quarter. So that's just 3 months, 2,000 gallons of paint. So that may be, one person picking up a lot of, some people tend to pick up a lot of paint if they're really painting their house. I mean, you could paint your house with Community Workday program. We've got a lot of course, the flat, paints, the primers and things like that, especially Remember Us when you are needing to do primer. Maybe you have a color in mind that we don't have, but if you generally need to prime anything you do. So we have a lot of that. We have paint companies that donate to us on a regular basis after their projects. So we have a steady flow of paint coming in, as well as, of course, individuals. You have one wall maybe in your house you want to paint, and then you have the whole rest of the gallon left over, and it will go bad. If you let it sit for a year or 2 years, it'll separate and it'll go bad. And the paint program is not for bad paint. We're not supposed to be the bad paint disposal agency. People do bring us their bad paint pretty regularly, and if we are there to catch them in the moment, we ask them to take it back with them and mix it with something that turns it into a solid. So I always say cat litter. If you don't have cat litter, you can buy cat litter at Walmart for $6. It's not going to be that expensive. Or you can mix it with grass from your lawnmower. You can mix it with sawdust, sand if you happen to have some sand. All of those things will take that bad paint that's already separated into oils and turn it into a solid after you mix it and just let it dry out. Then you can dispose of it at the landfill. So a lot of people, wonder what they can do with their bad paint. And no, the landfill won't take it in a liquid form, but it will take it as a solid. And so Community Workday can help you to understand how you could recycle it, or we'll take your usable paint. And the usable paint is very important, I think, to other nonprofits. I mean, we have many nonprofits that come down and get their paint, Kaho'olawe Island Reserve Commission, schools, that come and get paint for whatever project they need, and it's absolutely free. It's the best thing ever. And then, one of the funnest things that we do in a year with our paint is the Paint-A-Can program. So that just happened at the county fair. You saw all the literal
trash cans.
The trash cans, 55-gallon drums. They're donated by Maui Oil, or we used to get them from Maui Land and Pine, and different businesses on Maui. And we take those barrels, we deliver them to the schools along with all that paint that we get donated from people. We separate it into smaller containers. We get the paintbrushes donated from people like Ace Hardware, and we're really grateful to all the Ace Hardwares and Home Depot and other organizations that donate to support that program. And so this year it was 26 schools got barrels, paint, and paintbrushes, and the kids go to town, and then we go back and we pick them up. So I think we had 90 painted barrels this year, and then the winners ride on our county fair float in the parade.
Oh, wow, cool.
And then they're all at the fairgrounds, and then after the fairgrounds, they're collected, and a lot of the Parks Department employees, the county parks and the state parks, will come down to Community Workday, pick up barrels, and then now they're going to go live in the environment at some beach park, somewhere to be a trash receptacle and switch out for the ones that are needing to be switched out. So.
And the kids can come up with their own design? I mean, is there a guideline? Or
No, just we ask that you try to keep it environmentally themed,
Okay.
I think, just in alignment with Community Workday. But
Right.
The kids have their own messages,
Sure.
and they're amazing. And so what we've done in the past is, take pictures of the barrels, put them on Facebook. We will give prizes to the top 3 barrels, but it's so hard to choose, of all those barrels. I mean, they're all great. I think we need to have a top 50 instead of a top 3 because they use it as a platform, for free speech, and now they're talking about saving the rainforest and not having trash with the fish, and they have pictures of fish with little trash pieces attached to them swimming in the water. And it's so sad because these are like 10-year-olds and 9-year-olds, and this is what they're thinking about, but
So
we're glad
what's
they're
that,
thinking.
What's that, 4th and 5th grade? 3rd and 4th?
It's actually from, I think the youngest is elementary, so maybe 2nd grade, I think, was the youngest that we had this year on up through high schools. Yeah.
That's got to be fun.
Yeah.
I can just picture kids out there coming up with their message.
Yeah, it is. It's
and
really
they create a
fun.
competition in the classroom then for the final design.
Yeah, the teachers work with their students to try and figure out, what it is, what direction they're going to go this year. And some schools, they're just exceedingly artistic. There's been a couple schools that have won or placed every year for many years. And then, there's just every year there's this new creative idea that, you'd think that with paint and barrels after 15 years, you'd have seen it all, but you could never see it all. I think every year it's different. And, Jan Dapitan initiated this program of painting the litter barrels, and it's still going. And every year there's more enthusiasm, and they get competitive, and it's really fun.
Isn't that something? Yeah. It's the creative talents. I don't think I was blessed with any creative talents along those lines. I look at something and I like it or I don't, but to tell me to decorate that, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Thank goodness so many other people can do that. As we're talking about painting things and how beautiful they turn out, the mural up here at the corner of Market and Main. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's very pretty.
We had Eric Oakday on the radio the beginning of the month of October when he first got to town, along with Kelly McHugh from Hui Noeau, and they were talking about what they were going to do, and it was sitting here, and I'm going, okay. And then I love murals. Let's see what happens. So he was going to be talking with all the different people, coming up with ideas of what should be on this mural. And then he gets down to the point where he says, the way we do the mural is I come up with the design, and then we take 5 foot by 5 foot pieces of nylon, and I do a paint by number on those. And all the artists in town who want to take part come and do their paint by number 5 foot section. And then we put it together, and here's what you get. And it's like, I watched them, it was like a Thursday, I'm thinking Thursday afternoon when they started putting things up. I come to work Friday morning, it's up, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh.
We're so lucky to have so many talented artists on Maui, and actually Carol Walker, who's an artist, that's been helping with EO Theater things for many years, has painted some murals for Community Work Day around our gardens to talk about health and the environment and things. And she does a paint by number style too.
Really?
And it's really good because the kids can actually participate. It's not just the artist who paints the whole thing. You kind of bring people's empowerment, and engagement into it, and it's been so fun. So we're just really fortunate. I think, just for everybody who's listening, we're located in Pu'unene, behind the HCNS sugar mill. It's hard to find if you've never been there, so call us, 877-2524. Again, 877-2524, or visit us on Facebook. That's Community Work Day Program. And if you Google us, we'll be there. Thank you.
You're there. Thank you so much for sharing with us what you're all up to over there. Now, your staff is how big?
It's actually 4 full-time people and 5 part-time people.
Oh my gosh, fabulous. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. We visited with Kimber Carhart and Ray Chandler and talked about one of the hardest things to talk about, Hospice Maui, and one of the fun things to talk about, Community Work Day, and cleaning up our island and keeping it our wonderful home. For all of you out there, we encourage you to get involved with the different organizations by giving, advocating, or volunteering, and do it now. Don't wait. Check us out at MauiNonprofit.org for a list of our member agencies. Again, mahalo for tuning in. Don't forget to join us again next week at noon right here at KAOI, 1110 a.m. and 96.7 FM, when we'll be featuring representatives of 2 more member agencies of the Maui Nonprofit Directors Association. Until then, I'm Susie Tiemann.
And I'm Rhiannon Chandler.
And we've got Gary on the controls, and he's giving me the sign I've got to get off. It's time. Thank you, everyone. Aloha, and have a great week.
Aloha.